council presentation ceremony. So we'll call this meeting to order. The first item is a presentation to Officer Victor Lugo for his honorable service in the United States Army.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Captain Marie Kent with Homestead Police Department, and I'm here to for the Officer of the Month Award and also to honor one of our officers for his service in the military. If I can ask Officer Victor Lugo to come up, please. To give you a little background, Victor Lugo began his career in the Army November 24th of 1989. He began his journey at Fort Jackson in South Carolina. He served in the 10th Mountain Division at Fort Drum, New York. He has been deployed twice to Bosnia. In 1998, he was deployed to Sarajevo for the Bosnian conflict and received the NATO Medal for his service. He was assigned to Fort Bragg, the Airborne Division, where he got to jump out of perfectly good planes. He transferred and served in the Florida Army National Guard as an interrogator linguist and was deployed to Kosovo. He finished up his career with the recruiting command from West Palm to the Keys and retired as a master sergeant after serving his country for 23 years. Officer Victor Lugo started his career at Homestead Police Department as a reserve officer on November 18, 2009, so he served his country and the citizens of Homestead at the same time. He is an Honor Guard member, serves us well. He always expressed his desire to become a full-time officer for the Homestead Police Department. On October 14, 2013, he accomplished just that. Chief Roll and the command staff and the members of the police department have nothing but the utmost respect for Victor, and we're very happy that he was able to come on full time. Victor has been married to his lovely wife, Vic Marie, for 14 years, and they are the proud parents of Zoe and Leah. His mom, Carmen, and Victor did a very good job. It is with great pride that I bring Major Leeds up to present Officer Lugo with the medal.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the board. It's an honor, and I thank you for the time that you've given me today to come and briefly recognize one of Homestead's finest, a fine civil servant and a good man. We're all very aware of the very strong relationship between the city of Homestead and the military. The Air Base, through the great work of the Military Affairs Committee, has a very strong and long-standing and vital relationship. Many of us may not be fully aware of the relationship of the Army National Guard with the city of Homestead as well. Joe Ballard was a Major General and was a citizen of Homestead many years ago and commanded the Florida Army National Guard. This relationship is strengthened last year when you hired one of our distinguished guardsmen to serve as a public servant, a very dear friend of mine. A few promotions previously, back at the beginning of the conflict in Iraq, when I was a young captain, I commanded the local unit here in Homestead. And Victor Lugo was then a staff sergeant and was my recruiter. And he went out into the community and he built the team and found the people that I would take into the Middle East, that I would take into a year-long deployment into the desert. The success of that was fundamentally built on the work that Victor Lugo did. We worked together for many years. He culminated his career as one of my senior leaders and did a tremendous job for me. I come today on behalf of the governor and the Adjutant General of Florida, Major General Emmett R. Titshaw, Jr., to publicly recognize again, and I want to do that by reading the citation. This is the medal citation presented to Master Sergeant Lugo at the culmination of his military career. He was presented with the Meritorious Service Medal, and it says, for exemplary and honorable military service from November the 24th, 1989 to October the 31st, 2013. Master Sergeant Victor R. Lugo has distinguished himself in a variety of leadership positions, from squad leader to the recruiting detachment non-commissioned officer in charge, and has demonstrated great fidelity in the service of his nation. His faithful execution of his duties for more than 21 years is a lasting testament to the honorable tradition of military service and reflects great credit upon himself, the Florida Army National Guard, and the United States Army. Signed, James D. Tyre, Major General, Florida Army National Guard, commanding. And I'd like to conclude with a presentation of a certificate from our Commander-in-Chief. The President of the United States, President Barack Obama, has provided a certificate of appreciation, and I'll go ahead and read that as well, for service in the Armed Forces of the United States of America. Master Sergeant Victor Richard Lugo of the Florida Army National Guard. And the President writes, I extend to you my personal thanks and the sincere appreciation of a grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of a nation during a critical time in its history with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud traditions of military service. Your commitment and dedication have been an inspiration for those who will follow in your footsteps, and for all Americans who join me today in saluting you for the job extremely well done. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future. Signed, Barack Obama, the Commander-in-Chief. Again, I express my gratitude for the opportunity to come and recognize a dear friend of mine. And my loss is a great gain to the city of Homestead, and I'm sure he will serve you for many diligent years.
I think we got outdone there, council members. We don't have well, this is just from the mayor and council, but that's really special for us to be able to see here and honor this fine gentleman for his service to our community. And obviously, as a military person in the community, we're very proud of you. And we have a certificate of appreciation, and it basically says, Officer Victor Lugo, Homestead Police Department, for your steadfast commitment to defending what is right and just through service in the United States military and the Homestead Police Department. Your respect for the principle and sense of duty and honors of our country. So we really are appreciative, and I'd love for the council members to all join us at the front here so we can get a nice photograph together.
Well, good afternoon. First of all, I want to thank everyone for attending this presentation. It's actually a great honor for me to have my commander from my military unit presenting this award to me. I am blessed in every single way possible. I have been part of a great family, the United States Army. Once a soldier, always a soldier. Whoa! And I went from being a soldier to becoming part of the Blue Force, the Brotherhood of Homestead Police Department. And I'm proud to serve my community with dignity and respect. Thank you.
I may have Officer Jesus Gonzalez up front, please. How you doing? I will try to do this as quickly as possible. His supervisors were very kind when they wrote him up and nominated him for all the hard work that he's done. So I want to try to give him every moment of satisfaction out of this. This came from his supervisor from midnight shift, Lieutenant Raymond DeJean, Sergeant Randy Owens, and Sergeant Yanko Rodriguez. It is with great pride that I take this opportunity to nominate Officer Jesus Gonzalez for Officer of the Month for June 2014. A brief overview of the month shows that Officer Gonzalez has handled 184 calls for service and responded as a backup on 68 calls. He has effected 7 arrests and generated 16 reports. Officer Gonzalez is a former HPD dispatcher and reserve officer and currently is assigned as an officer on the midnight shift, uniform patrol. So while you're all nice and snugly in your beds, he's one of the ones that's out there keeping you safe. There are sometimes several events that occur during a given month in which I feel officers need to be recognized. Having this in mind, there are several related events that occurred in which Officer Gonzalez utilized his resources and helped stop a crime spree being committed by 2 brothers. Officer Gonzalez's determination and willingness to go above and beyond shows his true professionalism and dedication to duty. On Saturday, 5/31/2014, Officer Gonzalez was on patrol in his marked police vehicle in the area of Northwest 10th Street and 1 Avenue when he observed 2 males running west from 64 Northwest 10th Street. Officer Gonzalez then observed 2 other males running after the first pair of males. Officer Gonzalez would be flagged down by a second pair who advised that they had just been robbed. The victims described the suspects as 2 dark-skinned Latin males and that both spoke Spanish. Officer Gonzalez advised dispatch of what transpired, and several units responded to the area. The 2 suspects, who could not be located, seemed to disappear into the night. Officer Gonzalez wrote a report for the case on Sunday, June 1st, 2014, just after midnight. Midnight patrol units on a traffic stop at 770 North Chrome Avenue observed 2 males running past their location. The officers then noticed that the 2 males were being chased by another male. The first 2 males jumped the fence into the parking lot of La Quebradita at 702 North Chrome Avenue and fled west through the property. The officers made contact with the 3rd male, who advised that he'd just been robbed by the 2 males. They took approximately $600 in U.S. currency. The officers advised dispatch of what had just transpired, and a perimeter was quickly established. HPD K-9, with the assistance of Miami-Dade Police Department K-9 and MDPD Aviation, conducted a search within the perimeter with negative results. Again, the subjects seemed to just disappear into the air. K-9 Officer Monaco advised that his dog lost track of the potential subjects in the area of 535 Northwest 1 Avenue. Officer Gonzalez was also the officer that wrote that report. Later that morning, Officer Gonzalez began receiving intelligence from law enforcement source of information who advised that the individuals involved in several recent robberies of migrants were brothers that lived in the area. The source also advised that one of the brothers' first names was Oslin. The source also indicated that the brothers were the ones who committed the last two robberies, which were documented by Officer Gonzalez. On 6/2/2014, at approximately 3:05 in the morning, Officer Gonzalez received information from a law enforcement source of information that one of the brothers had been committing a string of robberies, was standing in front of the Chevron gas station at 770 North Chrome Avenue. The source provided Officer Gonzalez with a description of the subject and that he was outside of the business. Officer Gonzalez and Lieutenant Dijon were 1 block away at North Chrome Avenue and Northeast 9th Street when he was provided the information. Upon arrival, they located the subject drinking a beer outside the front door of the business. The subject, now identified as Christopher Lopez Sanchez, was placed under arrest for open consumption of an alcoholic beverage and was transported to HPD for processing under the case number. Officer Gonzalez gained additional information regarding the subject that he arrested for such a minor crime. Information obtained, such as the subject's address, which ultimately was the location that Officer Monaco and his K-9 partner Gunner had tracked the unknown subjects to. The physical description of Christopher Lopez Sanchez did match the physical description of one of the suspects on the robberies, and he, Christopher, acknowledged the fact that he and a brother, Oslin. Additionally, the location of the arrest showed that Christopher Lopez Sanchez was commonly in the area where the crimes were being committed and also during a time of the night they were being committed. All in all, the information being provided to Officer Gonzalez from the source of information was suddenly proven to be reliable and trustworthy. Officer Gonzalez provided the information to GIU robbery detectives for follow-up. As in many cases, the victim was not able to identify Christopher Lopez Sanchez or Oslin Lopez Sanchez. The investigation will continue. On 6/8/2014, at approximately 5:43 hours, a caller contacted police advising of males with firearms who were threatening to kill him. Officer Gonzalez responded to the area and made contact with the victim and the witness at 65 Northwest 8th Street. Both the victim and witnesses stated they were hanging out in the parking lot located on the north side of the apartment building when they were approached by 2 Hispanic males. One of the males, described as a tall and thin, wearing a gray t-shirt, blue jeans, and a baseball cap, held his hand behind his back as if he was holding a weapon. The suspect told the victim that he had a gun and stated to the victim, "If you don't give me your money right now, I'm going to kill you." The victim believed that the suspect would shoot him if he did not comply. The suspect then pushed the victim down and removed the victim's cell phone and wallet containing $600 from his pants pockets. Both subjects fled together on foot through the alleyway. Officer Gonzalez and Officer Veronica Blanco located Christopher Lopez Sanchez, who matched the description, walking westbound on Northwest 6th Street and Northwest 1 Avenue. A short time later, Christopher's brother, Oslin, also arrived where Officer Gonzalez and Officer Blanco had Christopher Lopez Sanchez stopped. Officer Gonzalez then responded back to the crime scene and transported the victim to the stop location for a show-up. The victim positively identified Christopher Lopez Sanchez as the male who robbed him. The victim did positively identify Oslin Lopez Sanchez, stating that he was sure that Oslin was not the second offender. Christopher Lopez Sanchez was arrested for armed robbery. During the search incident to arrest, Officer Gonzalez located 9 rocks of suspected crack cocaine in Christopher Lopez Sanchez's right front pants pocket. The victim's property was not recovered. Christopher Lopez Sanchez was charged with armed robbery and possession of a controlled substance. And it's now in the court system. On June 21st, at approximately 3:03, HPD officers were dispatched to Northwest 9th Street and Chrome Avenue in reference to a robbery that had just occurred. Dispatch advised of 2 male subjects fleeing the scene southbound on foot, and again gave description of the clothing. During this time, Officer Gonzalez began receiving information who advised that Oslin Lopez Sanchez had just committed the robbery and that it had occurred at 846 North Chrome Avenue, and they fled south. Additional units responded to the area and located the victim and interviewed him. The victim said he was walking home and was approached from behind by the subjects. The victim said that one of the subjects grabbed him by the arm and began to punch him in the chest with multiple closed fists. They also advised that the other subject punched him in the head, knocking him down to the ground, and both subjects reached into his pants pocket and removed his black wallet, $120 in cash, his black LG cell phone, and fled southbound. About 15 minutes later, Officer Perez, Cosio, and Guzman observed both subjects who matched the description at 841 North Chrome Avenue. They were observed going up the stairs to the second floor of the hotel. They were ordered to walk down the stairs. Officer Perez advised that one subject who was identified as Oslin Lopez Sanchez threw a black wallet to the ground. Officer Perez ordered both subjects to come to him. As the subjects walked next to his car, Oslin Lopez Sanchez threw a black LG cell phone underneath it. Officer Perez retrieved the wallet and cell phone. Officer Cosio located a $100 bill inside of Oslin Lopez Sanchez's left front pants pocket. They were all interviewed. A show-up of the subject was conducted with the victim, who immediately identified the juvenile subject as Oslin Lopez Sanchez and the individuals who robbed him. Both the juvenile subject and Oslin Lopez Sanchez were placed under arrest and transported to Homestead PD. Due to Officer Gonzalez's no-quit attitude and desire to take the bad guy off the street, he made the decision to think outside the box, utilizing techniques such as the use of sources of information and good old following through. He was able to gather enough intelligence to learn the identities of these brothers who were terrorizing our migrant community. Even when victims were able to identify the subjects during photo lineups, Officer Gonzalez continued to actively seek additional information in order to find a way to apprehend these subjects. Officer Gonzalez would share the intelligence he gathered with other officers at the police department during roll calls and word of mouth. Officer Gonzalez knew law enforcement would have to catch the brothers in the commission of a crime or shortly thereafter with the victim's property in their possession. From 5/1 of 2014 to 6/21 of 2014, there were 8 unsolved robberies with subjects that matched the description of the Lopez Sanchez brothers. Since their arrest and until June 30th, 2014, there have been no additional robberies in the area. It should also be noted that none of the efforts by Officer Gonzalez would have been successful if it wasn't for the assistance and response that he received from his fellow officers, detectives, and law enforcement sources of information. Information sharing is essential in this job. Officer Gonzalez, as any other officer could have, easily just took the information, wrote a report, and let the detectives follow up. It was Officer Gonzalez's attitude, along with his coworkers, that they were not going to allow that on their shift in the city and happen to the residents of Homestead anymore. During his time with the city of Homestead, Officer Gonzalez has taken great pride in being a law enforcement officer. He continues to vigorously pursue the criminal element to ensure that the streets are safe for each and every citizen of Homestead. It is Officer Gonzalez's attention to detail and dedication to duty that is keeping with the highest traditions of law enforcement, reflects distinct credit upon himself, his family, Kim, who works for Miami-Dade Police Department as an officer, and his daughter Gracie. Again, it is great pride and admiration for Officer Gonzalez's work that this letter be submitted. So on behalf of Chief of Police, command staff, and the officers and members of Homestead Police Department, congratulations to Officer Jesus Gonzalez for Officer of the Month for June.
I was wondering who she was talking about, but anyway, with all honor, this Officer of the Month has been given to Officer Jesus Gonzalez by myself, Chief Rowe, Homestead Police Department, for his outstanding performance during the month of June 2014. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Also, on behalf of the mayor and the council, we'd like to present you with a certificate of recognition. Reads, Officer Jesus Gonzalez, Homestead Police Department. With gratitude, we thank you for your distinguished service above and beyond the call of duty. The city of Homestead salutes you. Thank you, sir.
Real quick, I just want to thank the mayor, vice mayor, the entire board, the chief of police, our role. Thank you very much. The command staff, the crew I work with, special thanks to Lieutenant D. John for taking the time to do this for me. I really appreciate it. Thank you. My wife, daughter. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Shelley, YMCA update?
Sure, thank you, Mayor. The YMCA has always been a great community partner with us here in the city of Homestead. And so we recently acquired a new executive director for the YMCA. And so I'd like to invite the new executive director to come up and introduce himself to the community and talk about what the YMCA has been up to, what they have planned for some future events and future community partnerships. And so with that, I'd like to introduce Mr. Naim Smith, the new executive director of the Homestead YMCA.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Mayor Porter, Vice Mayor Shelley, and the council members, and also the citizens of Homestead. It's great to be here. My name is Naim Smith. I'm the new executive director of the YMCA and Family Center of Homestead in the Upper Keys. I came to Homestead on June 1st from Minnesota, where I spent the last 4 years working for the Y, and before that, 10 years in living in New Jersey, also working for the YMCA. We just came off a very successful summer where we served over 350 kids a week from the Homestead area for the last 10 weeks in our summer camp program. So I want to thank the families who entrusted their child care to us once again at the YMCA. We hope they had a pleasant experience, and we wish them a lot of luck in the upcoming school year. There are kind of 5 points that I guess I want to talk about, and those 5 points are where we want to be, not necessarily where we are today. And the first one I want to talk about is at the YMCA going forward, we want to pride ourselves on customer service, making sure that issues are easily solvable and they also get to the right person. I'm also proud to announce that when I got here, it was a little bit of sadness, but also some joy coming out of it, that I had to replace 2 managers as soon as I got to the Homestead Y. But fortunately, I am a new resident of Homestead. I live in Homestead, so I'm proud to say that. But after a national search for 2 key positions at the Y, our youth and family director and also our membership director, I'm happy to say, and also proud to say, that the candidates that came out of a national search for those 2 positions were residents of Homestead. So I think that deserves a round of applause. As we're going forward, I'm getting to know people in the community, members of the council, business leaders, and also community leaders. And on December, sometime in December, we're going to have our second Jingle Bell Run. It's a partnership with the City of Homestead and Homestead Hospital, and it's a 5K to the Y. It's a great way to introduce people into pathways into healthy lifestyles, and also the proceeds for that run will help the YMCA keep its promise to make sure that our programs and our facilities are accessible to all people, regardless of their situation. So once again, thank you, Mayor Shelley, for having me and giving me the moment to present. I look forward to serving you all in the future for a long time to come and being part of the Homestead community. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Burgess, I think you're up next. And can I ask everyone to be respectful of the speakers, because it's very important that we hear what they have to say. So if you could hold it down, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, people. As we proceed along with our theme of welcoming and thanking the people that protect and serve us each and every day, it gives me a great honor to introduce Captain Marie Kent, as she's going to talk about the new K-9 officers and canines that we have introduced to the city and all that they do for us each and every day. So with that, Captain Marie Kent.
Hello again, everyone. We are here this afternoon to provide you, the citizens, the mayor, and council, with an update as promised. On October 16, 2013, just 10 short months ago, we talked about our K-9 unit and a number of retirements. If you remember, at that time, we retired several K-9s and 2 K-9 handlers. In total, 2 K-9 handlers, Tommy Pritchett and Ori after 31 years of service, Brian Kennedy and Turbo after 30 years of service. Canine King, the 4-pod, retired after 10 years of service with Officer John Monaco. Canine Boomer retired after 7 years of service with Sergeant Tony Trad. And Detective Robert Salinas retired his canine partner Kane after 8 years of service. At the time we retired everyone, we promised the citizens in Homestead and Mayor and Council that we would work very diligently to rebuild the unit with new dogs and handlers. So in total, 5 canines retired in November of 2013, and we are here today, and we have 6 new canines with their handlers, and this wouldn't be possible without the great support of Chief Roll, the city manager, the mayor, and council, who sees and understands the vision and the need to continue to move forward. So without further waiting, it is with great pride and my honor to introduce you to the newest 4-pod partners and the members of the Homestead PD and the City of Homestead family. If I could ask you please to hold your applause, no sudden movements up toward the front. We are actually going to bring the dogs into the meeting so you can actually see the handlers and their dogs and recognize them for their work that they do. The first one that you see coming in is Sergeant Tony Trad and Canine Nitro. He just completed 80 hours of training and is FDLE certified, and also just completed 120 hours of training and is certified as an explosive detection canine. Nitro is his new canine partner. You should also know that Sergeant Trad is used quite often, and we share resources. They do the bomb checks for the racetrack. They do it for any special events at the arenas, at sports events, all over the place. Our dogs and handlers are well known for their participation with other departments and other events that they have, and also support to other agencies whenever there's a crisis or an officer shooting or any life-threatening event that they need additional help for. We always respond. Our next handler is Officer John Monaco and his canine partner Gunner. Straight ahead, right there. They completed 80 hours of training and is FDLE certified, and also just completed 120 hours of training and is certified. Explosive detection dog, that was Tony's. 80 hours of training and is FDLE certified. Gunner is his new canine after he retired King. Sergeant Trad and Officer Monaco are veteran officers and very experienced canine handlers and are certified instructors and conducted the 40-hour school in-house. This required meeting Florida Department of Law Enforcement requirements for the curriculum and training. So we had a huge advantage by having in-house trainers for this. Yep, next dog. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Chief.
Yeah, be back. The next handler is Detective Freddie Pascal and Canine Milo. They successfully completed 80 hours of training and also successfully completed the training and is certified as a drug detection canine. Our drug detection dogs are responsible for helping to seize a lot of money that comes back into the city and the police department for things that the normal taxes cannot pay for. So we are very happy to have another working drug dog amongst everything else. This team is certified and currently serving in the Special Investigative Unit, again, like I said, for narcotics. Freddie Pascal and Milo. Thanks, Freddie. And remember what I said, this has been since October that we retired the number of dogs and officers, and we are back up to full staff with dogs and handlers. Officer Carlos Garcia and K-9 Chance successfully completed 480 hours training and is FDLE certified, and this team is currently actively working throughout the city assigned to day shift. Officer Stephen Boney and K-9 Dukin successfully completed the 480 hours of training and is FDLE certified, and this team is actively working throughout the city assigned to afternoon shift. These are also the same K-9s that you will see that attend your child's schools, that visit on Red Ribbon Weeks, that do special events. Your children probably know the dogs better than you do. Thank you. Last one. Last but not least, Officer Juan Roa and K-9 Diesel also successfully completed 480 hours of training and is FDLE certified, and the team is actively working throughout the city assigned to midnight shift. Yeah. He's like a high and fly kind of dog. We just wanted to say thank you very much for your continued support of the Homestead Police Department and the efforts to continue serving the citizens and the city as a whole.
Thank you. I'd just like to say a couple things about K-9. Obviously, K-9 is a specialized unit, and our mission is to assist in the location apprehension of hidden offenders. And the dogs do this very well, and they help keep the officers safe. Studies have shown over the course of the years that K-9s find hidden offenders more efficiently and accurately than a team of officers. And that gap broadens as the building or the area gets larger. And the gap between the officers team and the K-9 team broadens. So they're a very effective, useful tool. We use them for a lot of different things, and it requires a tremendous amount of training, which also requires a tremendous amount of support, both from our department and from the city. And in recognition of that, also by the handlers, by the way. So in recognition of that, I'd like to thank the chief and the command staff on behalf of the K-9 unit and present him with a plaque of our appreciation from the K-9 unit.
Just want to say thanks. We really appreciate it, Sergeant Trad and Officer Monaco. Without those two guys training all these dogs, we wouldn't have the dogs here today. So it's our support, but it's their hard work. And my command staff, I appreciate you guys as well. But again, thank you all so much. These guys, I told them what I wanted. They made it happen. That's what it's all about. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Captain Kent. And for each one of the K-9 officers, we've got a little certificate for their graduation from their different academies that they've attended. For Sergeant Tony Trad, the Miami-Dade Public Safety Training Institute, and the Southern Coast K-9 Certificate of Attendance for he and his dog, Nitro. Sergeant Trad, thank you very much for all that you do.
Thank you.
For Officer John Monaco and his K-9 gunner and the Southern Coast K-9 Certificate of Attendance. Officer Monaco, you and Gunner, thank you, sir, for all that you do out there each and every day for us. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, Chief. for Freddie Pascal and his canine Milo. I'd also like to say thank you to you for all that you do each and every day, and congratulations on your new acquire of Milo. And this is from the Southern Coast Canine Certificate of Attendance and Training and the American Detection Canine Association for you and your dog. Thank you, sir, very much. For Carlos Garcia and his canine Chance, thank you to you. Here's a certificate of your training of completion, and we thank you very much for all that you do out there each and every day. For Officer Stephen Boney and Canine Duncan, Officer Certificate of Training and Completion, thank you very much, sir, for all that you and your canine do out there and keeping each one of us 65,000 citizens of Homestead safe, and for your dedication to the Canine Corps. Thank you. And for Officer Juan Roja and Canine Diesel, thank you to you also, sir, for all that you do out there and keeping us all safe, and for working with this great dog of yours and doing all that you do to make sure that everybody is safe and doing the good deeds around the community, of showing off what these dogs are capable of doing and how what good ambassadors they are for us and for the police department. Thank you.
Yeah, the chief said I could talk for a second. Is that okay with you, Mr. Vice Mayor? Okay. I just want you all to know that our canine unit went down to very few dogs. We had a couple retire, a couple guys get promoted that were handlers, and we went down to a couple dogs. The chief had a vision. He brought it forward to us, and he said, "Make it happen." And we made it happen, and it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the chief, his command staff, mayor, council, everybody, the people of Homestead. I'm just ecstatic that we're able to put out this product and give you the best dogs in Dade County. Thank you again.
Thank you. Chief, if you and your command staff will stay up here, please. And if people will bear with us, we've got some other good officers here that I'd like to recognize tonight. Our traffic unit received 2 awards from the Florida Law Enforcement Liaison Program. And from the FDOT tonight, in the program liaison, we have Sean Van Baber here. If he could come up, and he's going to tell you a little bit about the program and what it means and how the state does it, and then I'll tell you about the awards that our officers have won through this program.
My name is Sean Van Beber. I'm with the Florida Law Enforcement Liaison Program, which is a grant-funded program through the Florida Department of Transportation and National Traffic Highway Safety Administration. The Homestead Police Department during 2013 was able to increase their traffic safety efforts to the point where they actually became one of the best recognized traffic safety units in the state of Florida in two specific programs. The Florida Law Enforcement Challenge, which is an all-encompassing law enforcement program geared towards saving lives on Florida's roadways, specifically your roadways right here in Homestead, through enforcement, education, training of officers, and also educational programs within your community. Homestead took first place in their category of 26 agencies of their same size category. The incredible thing about what they were able to also do was place seventh place overall out of 215 agencies in the entire state of Florida that participated in this program. That's how well their program did in 2013 in their traffic safety efforts. Their dedicated motor officers were able to place second out of 118 motor units that participated from Pensacola to Key West. A very impressive statistic. What they were able to do were promote their overall traffic safety efforts in DUI, distracted driving, occupant protection, their training of officers. They implemented policies within their department to not only the traffic unit, but the entire agency gets involved in their traffic safety initiatives and efforts. I would like to commend them for their dedicated efforts over the past few years. We recognized them at a national award ceremony in Orlando in June, where they were brought up and received awards for their first placement in the Law Enforcement Challenge and also second place in the Motor Unit Challenge. They also assisted the LEL program just a few weeks ago by hosting a county-wide, actually tri-county area traffic safety meeting where representatives from every law enforcement agency in Broward, Miami-Dade, and Monroe attended a traffic safety initiative meeting sponsored by NHTSA and FDOT at Homestead Speedway, where the chief was in attendance and greeted everybody, and it was an exceptional meeting of what we're looking forward to doing and making the roadways safer, not only in Homestead, but across the state of Florida for everybody in this room. So, Homestead, you have an exceptional traffic safety unit, an exceptional police department, and we commend you from DOT for your efforts.
He spoke about the awards they've won, but I just want to bring up a couple statistics that these gentlemen do out here for the year of 2013. They had 1,463 seatbelt citations, 1,661 speeding citations, 131 motorcycle citations, 71 special enforcement details, 479 distracted driving citations, 349 DUI arrests, 10,739 total citations in 2013. So if somebody doesn't think they're out there busy and helping us keep our city safe and our roads safe, then all they have to do is look and see what these guys have done in the city of Homestead. 10,739 citations in 1 year. Officer Alejandro Morguido was our top producer and wrote the most citations in 2013. Now, some may think he's a very friendly guy. Evidently, a lot of people in Homestead have met him throughout the year. But just him, Officer Morguido himself had 91 arrests for various reasons, 1,921 citations written, and 219 crash investigations. That's over a crash, almost a crash a day that this one officer is out investigating and taking care of. So I want to say to all of our traffic unit, who is led by Sergeant Tom Sermon, if I could have them come up here and join me tonight. Officer John Buchanan, Officer John Truex, our top producer, Officer Alejandro Morguido. Take a good look at him. Officer Victor Augusto and Officer Jean-Luc Benert. I'd like to tell them each and all, thank you for all that they do. They're out there keeping the roads safe. If anybody's ever had a fender bender, I'm sure that they have seen one or more than one of these gentlemen out there in the rain, cold, hot, whatever it is. And I'd like to give a certificate of recognition to Sergeant Thomas Sermon. In recognition of award-winning Homestead Police Department Traffic Unit, congratulations to you and the unit on placing first and second at the Florida Law Enforcement Liaison Program. Thank you for your dedication to the traffic, safety, excellence in the city of Homestead. Always looking beyond the traffic ticket, we are, looking for safety. Presented to you the 20th day of August 2014 by myself, Councilman John Burgess, Mayor Jeff Porter, Vice Mayor Stephen Shelley, Councilwoman Patricia Faircloth, Councilman Elvis Maldonado, Councilwoman Judy Waldman, and Councilman Jimmy L. Williams. Sergeant Sherman, would you like to say a few words?
Mayor, Council, I want to say thank you for this recognition. Chief, command staff, the whole police department, and the citizens of Homestead. I thank you for recognizing me for something I love to do. This is my passion, making the streets safer for all of us that drive, all of us that live here. And again, thank you very much.
We have one of those plaques for everybody that reads the same, so thank you to that. I also want to present to this team here the 2013 Law Enforcement Challenge, your first place trophy for the statewide event. So, Alex. We also had the second place award for reducing crashes and increasing seatbelt coverage and usage and the rates on Florida's highways. So for that, the 2013 Florida Motor Unit Challenge, second place goes to the Homestead PD and their motor unit. I'll call out their names again if we give it to them. Officer Alejandro Morguido. Yes, sir. Jean-Luc Benert. Yes, sir. Officer John Buchanan. Officer John Truex. And with that, I'd just like to say thank you for keeping our roads safe and for all that you guys do, and we appreciate it. And I know that it makes my job easier when the people are handled with dignity and pride out there. Even if they are given a citation, I don't get many complaints. Thank you. And Sean, thank you for coming down, and thank you for all you do at the SDOT to help us down here with these programs. Thank you. Chief, you want to say anything? Okay. This is a certificate of appreciation from the Homestead Police Department. This certificate is presented to Sean Van Beaver, Florida Law Enforcement Liaison to the South Region. As a result of your dedication and support of traffic safety and the traffic safety initiatives of the Florida Department of Transportation and National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the streets of Homestead, Miami-Dade County, and Florida are safer for all the motorists. The City of Homestead appreciates your efforts and all that you do for us. Chief Alexander Roll, Major Scott Kennedy.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Very unexpected. Oh, you kidding me?
Get a quick picture, and then Mayor, we can adjourn it if the clerk wants to go ahead and shut down and clerk if that's unless we have other things to do.
No, that's it, Mr. Burgess. Thank you very much. Congratulations to everyone. Madam Clerk, we're going to adjourn the special presentations part of the ceremony here and take some pictures and give us about 5 minutes, and we'll reconvene for the city council meeting. Congratulations to everyone tonight.